Welcome to the booth setup for your 10-foot Skyline. My name is Steve. I am your corporate marketing representative, and I will be showing you how to utilize these two cases, which will contain your booth and your booth graphic. Within both cases, you will have the entire setup of the 10-foot Skyline booth. To open your cases, you've got a couple latches on the front. Go ahead, twist those open, and your booth parts will be inside. The first piece that you're going to want to set up is going to be the spine, which is the backbone of the entire 10-foot booth. Now, when we say a 10-foot booth, that means it's 10 feet wide. When you go to find your spot within the show floor, you will have barriers on both sides which will define the spot. The booth will stretch to the entire width of that 10-foot area. So you'll need to position this backbone appropriately. Going into the first case, right in the middle, you'll have a plastic bag which contains the spine. Pull the plastic bag out, grab your spine, and put the plastic right back in the middle of the case to give yourself, obviously, as much room in front for yourself, the table, and all of the giveaways. And open it up. Once you have the booth open, you've got some plungers and clasps within the booth to hold the frame. You can go ahead, once you get one set up, it'll be stable enough where you can walk through. To put the plungers in, all you have to do is pull it back just like a syringe, and that'll give you a little hole on the back side. You can just put that right on the hub and release that. So you'll have a number of these on the entire booth to go ahead and get set up. So click all of those in place. Carefully jump on top to be able to reach these. Do not try to reach these from the ground if you can't, because what will end up happening, you'll either pull down on the spine, most likely breaking it, or you'll knock it over into the booth behind you or next to you, and either you or someone else or both will end up getting hurt. Once the backbone of the booth is set up, the next thing that you will want to attach to the booth are the spine sections. You will have 7 sections for the 10-foot booth, and they set within the booth case right around where the backbone was. The spine sections are the large steel U channels, and they're in 3 pieces. You can go ahead, pull those out individually, come over to the booth, and you'll notice you have 5 sections on the front where these will attach. You will also have one around the back on each end where it will attach also. In order to put these on, the first thing you want to do is just hook the top. You'll notice that one of these has an L channel on the top. Hook that to the top, right within the hole. Once that's in, snap the bottom into the next peg. That one will now be securely in place, at which point you can attach the next 2. The easiest way to do that is push the top right onto that peg, come down, and then pull up ever so slightly just so it'll come right on top of that peg. And you'll do the same thing with the bottom section. You will go through, do this around for all 7 spines, the 5 on the front, come all the way around, and the 2 on each end. Okay, again, what you're going to want to do is put the top right in that peg, come down, slide the hole right over the peg. Now previously I showed you could lock this in and then pop that over the peg on the bottom. The other option that you can do is initially put that on the peg on the bottom, come up, pull these apart slightly, and that will lock in. Both will allow you ease of getting those in. And again, here on the bottom, put the bottom hole right over the peg, come up, pull it up slightly, and drop it right on the peg. Okay, once your spines have been attached to the backbone, what you'll want to do is now hang the various carpet pieces within the booth. You will have pieces within both cases which are around this center section. So by lifting these out, you can then access your carpet pieces. They're going to be rolled up within each case. So by spinning those a little bit tighter, you can pull those out. Those come out as such. Place these on your booth table to roll them out. Do not just lay them on the floor. This table is just for demonstration purposes. It's a little small, but your actual booth table will be long enough that you can lay out all of your carpet pieces. Once those are there, go ahead, take the first carpet piece, and you will have a top and a bottom on these pieces. The top will have sections of hooks on them. You'll see it notched out right at the top. Those will hang on the top of your spine. Start out on one side. You will hook in the first side, hook in the second side, and then those will attach to the magnets running all the way down the spine. Okay, once you have all four of the front panels in place, then you will be putting the end caps on. Do not assemble the booth without the end caps. It is extremely inappropriate to do so. So the end caps you'll see are the thinner pieces. These right here are vinyl. Depending on the show that you're attending, we may or may not be renting carpeted end caps similar to the same fabric as the front. These have hooks on the top as well. So with these, what you'll do is, just like the front panels, you will hook one side on, bend it around to the back, and hook that onto the back side. Once you have those on, this is where it can get a little bit tricky. What you'll want to do is take both sides, attach it to the magnets, and walk it with even pressure on the front and back all the way down. What will end up tending to happen with the end caps, if you don't put these on correctly, they will have a tendency to pop off. This one actually seemed to go on pretty easily, but if you miss one of the magnets by just a little bit, it will end up popping off and the entire piece will want to fly off. At that point, just go back up to the top and keep working it all the way down. Again, until you're all the way to the bottom. You should be good to go. Do this for both sides. The last step in assembling the booth is attaching the lights. Within one of the center sections of the booth cases, there will be a corrugated plastic box. Within here is your light set for the booth. You've got two, will have to be pushed over the top, and the lights get attached to those L brackets on top of the booth. So again, what you'll need to do is you'll need to stand on this chair, grab it. Now when you put these on, you'll notice you've got 5 of the spines sticking up. The center one, the 2 sort of in the middle on each side, and the 2 ends. You're going to go with what will end up being the second and fourth. Now when you put these on, you've got to slide these in sideways. So slide it in sideways, there's a little tab on the bottom of that L. Pull that down a little bit and that'll slide right in. Once that's in, you can swing that around. You do that for the other side as well. Grab that. Again, put it in sideways, kind of pull the little plastic tab down, work it back in. You'll hear it kind of click and pop in. Swing that around to the front. And then once we get these plugged in, we'll work on getting those aimed. Once those are in place, you'll take your power cord. Now you should have a drop box for the electrical behind the booth. You can get that plugged in after the fact. You'll have one long cord for both lights. You've got a small plug in the back of that. Just kind of spin that around. Get each of those plugged in. Plug in the first one. Loop it over to the second. Get that plugged in. Once those are in, kind of be sure that the cord isn't popping off the top. Just try to get that behind the booth as much as you can. Alright, now that your booth is completely assembled, you're ready to hang the booth graphics. The long skinny cardboard box has got the booth graphics in it. Go ahead, pop those bands off. Pull those out of the way. Once you have those set, the booth graphic will just roll right out. This specific booth graphic is set up in two pieces. You have two halves of the booth. This one for our student housing show looks like one of our direct mail pieces. This top piece here is actually the right panel and the bottom one is the left. What you want. And the center line of the booth graphic is going to line up directly with the center line of where the two carpets split. This is usually done with two people. Okay, again, what you're going to want to do is you're going to need help putting this up, so it is going to take two people to get this hung. With this piece being the two-part piece, again, we're going to want that center one lined up directly with the split in the carpeted panels. Align the very top of the booth all the way to the very top of the carpet. So go ahead, you'll get that tacked down. Start lining that up. And then the person in the middle will pretty much be controlling how that lays down. The person on the end is just keeping it off the rest of the carpet to prevent that from sticking inappropriately. So as you can see John doing here, we're just going to kind of walk that out until the entire panel is set. There's going to be your one side. Just kind of take a look at it, be sure it doesn't bubble up anywhere. You should have an appropriate amount of Velcro on the backs of these pieces so that it'll stick and it won't be popping off anywhere. And you're all set. Use the blanket that you had everything wrapped up in. Just kind of go over, be sure, you know, those fingerprints should just rub right out. Be sure you've got all of your dust off of here. Grab your chair again, have someone stand back from the booth. Kind of set your chair up. Now be careful when you're grabbing these lights. Again, these are halogen lights, so these things are going to get extremely hot. Basically what you're going to want to do is have them pointed down, and depending on the lighting in the room, it's really going to affect where these are going to be pointed. Basically you want to try and highlight on this. It works usually pretty good if they're pointed slightly in. You can see the angles on these coming in a little bit and just slightly down.